Hey family, welcome back to Awakened Life. If you are new here, my name is Jacqueline. I am a birth and traditional postpartum doula, a mama, a author, and a friend. And so I wanted to share today a little bit about some challenges that especially us as moms may face if you are someone who is prone to anxiety, depression, or just overwhelm in general. And so I've been having some conversations lately where moms are like, I'm very overwhelmed and I don't know where to start. And a lot of us, we may have our own challenges with depression, anxiety, all sorts of issues. We might have health issues, or we might just be momming and dealing with a lot, and it just becomes so much at certain times. And so I wanted to share with you, at different key times in my life, I've felt that, even still, and I've had to really hone in on what is the root of the issue and then adjust that so that the ripple effect could take place in the rest of my life. And so the ripple effect I found starts with organization, right? And delegation. Now, if you're a parent out there, when you're dealing with children, sometimes you're like, it's just better or easier if I do it because it looks crazy. But ultimately, we wind up driving ourselves crazy because we're not allowing responsibility to be doled out to those who can and are fully capable of, being responsible in different areas. And so, first thing I want to mention is taking some quiet time. 2 hours is nice because it's nice for me because it gives me a lead-in time to really quiet my mind and really get settled into the quiet moment. And then probably for about an hour or some change, I'm able to just sit still, meditate, think about the problems and the challenges that I'm having and trying to solve. And it gives me enough time for my brain to not have to worry about anything else, to calm down. I'm able to pray, meditate, ask God for clarity on what needs to be taking place, because a lot of times when we're overwhelmed, it's because our mind is just full of thoughts. Our mind is not organized, our mind is not clear, but we're also not creating space in our life for that to take place. So what you'll find is that when you're sitting still and you're quiet and you're intentionally emptying your mind, maybe you're starting off with a prayer, maybe you're starting off with a quiet meditation, that emptiness allows for your brain to really recharge, reset. You'll come up with creative ideas. You'll feel even physically more refreshed just from taking a moment to be still. Not with your phone, not on an app, not talking to your children, not talking to your spouse, not talking to anyone, just sitting. So I like to do this outside in nature. That's very calming to hear the birds or some crickets or something. But for someone else, it might be in your room, it might be in your favorite chair. The important thing about this time that you're gonna take is creating boundaries around it, making it a priority. And so oftentimes we're overwhelmed with little things, like your children are asking you questions and you feel like, oh my God, I can't even complete a thought without somebody asking me for something. But it's also okay just to clearly state, hey, I need a moment. I'm going to take the next 2 hours and I'm going to have some quiet time. These are the boundaries around that time. You're not allowed to ask me questions. Please don't interrupt me. As a matter of fact, 5-10 minutes before my time begins, let's just make sure everything is taken care of. So if you need some snacks, you need some water, you need some food, whatever it is, let's get that now because I need you to honor my time. That's number one. Number two is be intentional about thinking about where you can delegate responsibilities and tasks within your household. You are the manager of your household, but you are not the one that is supposed to be literally executing and doing every single thing. I'm a firm believer, children can do far more than we give them credit for. And I'm not talking about overburdening your children, but your children can sort their clothes. By 7, 8 years old, your children can do laundry. They can begin to be making eggs on the stove, or maybe spaghetti, or some simple meals that you can teach them and that you can trust them with. But it also, for a couple of meals a week, might take the burden off of you in terms of preparation. And it also empowers them and builds confidence in them that they can actually execute these things and take care of themselves. So that would be number 2. Making sure that you are really thinking about age appropriate delegation of responsibility to the people in your household. Number 3, I'm a fan of family meetings. So I am not the type of parent that believes that it's like my way or the highway, hush, don't say nothing, da 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 da, within reason, right? So establishing a time for all of your family members, your spouse, your children, however your house is set up, if you have extended family, grandparents, to all come and commune and sit down and discuss the issues of the week, I found to be very, very helpful in giving everyone a voice. Children often do not have a voice in this world, and if their parents aren't there giving it to them, the world certainly is not giving it to them. And so when you institute a family meeting, it's a space for you to touch base, address issues, prayerfully without the emotion and, energy behind, you're not doing this, you're not doing that. Nope, this is a neutral, objective space. Hey, these are some things that aren't taking place the way that they need to. This is the expectation. This is the standard. What are we going to put in place so that this happens? But also, you may learn that there are certain tasks that one child actually prefers, and there might be another task that another child prefers. And if you just kind of delegate those tasks solo to each child versus you have Monday, Wednesday, Friday, you have Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, you might find some solutions there just by learning and listening to your children and your spouse and coming up with a creative strategy based upon, again, the personalities that are in front of you. And so these are some small tweaks to help you build communication with your children and your family, decrease the overwhelm in your own head because you are taking yourself through it, trying to handle everything, and also cultivating responsibility and confidence in your children, and then also within yourself. Because when your family knows that you're willing to listen to them, that you're willing to be flexible, that you care what their opinions are and what works for them and what doesn't work, it can do wonders for your relationship because it's just respect. It's just honor and respecting this person as a human being. And what that does for the spirit and the soul is it's invaluable. The other thing is I have some key terms. You might find them useful, you may not find them useful, but over the years, like I've shared in other videos, my oldest is a sophomore in college. I have a middle schooler, 8th grade, and a 3rd grader. And so these terms I cultivated years ago. I started even when my oldest was 6, we used to just have meetings and I would be like, hey, where am I messing up as a mom? I'm new to this. I know I'm not getting it right. This was prior to me having my 2nd daughter, and I would just let her voice everything. And so in those meetings, she came up with all kinds of stuff. I don't like it when you tell me to make my bed. I don't like it when you tell me to brush my teeth, and whatever it was. And so we began to discuss negotiables and non-negotiables, right? So if she says, Mom, you are yelling too much, it doesn't make me feel good, please don't do that, then that is a negotiable. That is something actually that I need to look at with consideration and pull back. I also need to discuss with her, hey, now let's dig into it. Am I yelling the first time or am I yelling the 5th time? And then we're discussing, okay, if yelling doesn't work, consequences after the 2nd time. And then that allows me to be responsible for my behavior of yelling, pulling back on that, and it gives her accountability to, execute whatever it is that she's needs to do or is being asked to do by the second time, or be met with whatever those consequences are, but the consequences aren't the yelling. And so those are negotiables. The things that fall into the category of non-negotiables is, hey, I don't like it when you tell me to brush my teeth. Okay, hygiene, non-negotiable. Keeping your space clean is non-negotiable. What is negotiable is the frequency. And so I just want to empower you to think creatively, and just be real and honor your children and your family members as you're having conversations. Like, they're people, they have preferences and likes and dislikes and emotions and all kinds of stuff. There's things about your personality that they may not like or that may not mesh well, but for the time that you're living together, it's important that you strategize together so that you have a cohesive, moving family environment that supports all of you. Because if you're a mom or you're a dad and you put yourself in the position where everything falls on you, you're gonna burn out. You're gonna have a horrible attitude. It's gonna impact your relationship with your children, and they're not gonna learn how to be responsible and cultivate confidence in their abilities to take care of daily tasks that every human being should be able to take care of. You should be able to take care of your hygiene. You should be able to do laundry, clean some dishes, clean your space. These are just things that all humans need to know how to do. And lastly, sometimes as parents, we expect our children to just know what our standard is. Time passes, depending on how many children you have and how old you are and all this, you're like, oh, you should know what your clean room should look like. No. We all have different standards for cleanliness. And so I would also encourage you to do one time where you are helping your child clean their space or do a task the way that you want it to be done. My word or my phrase is pristine condition. So if it's a Saturday and I'm like, okay, we're cleaning, everyone go to your room and get your room in pristine condition, there's been at least 1 or 2 times that I've walked through what the standard of pristine condition is. And I don't care if you want to dance, turn on some music, roll across the floor, whatever it is, but your room needs to be in pristine condition by the time our cleaning time is up. And so making sure that you are setting the standard, like walk them through what it is that you expect so that they know very clearly what the expectation is. And you have a definition of that. And so, okay, keep your room tidy through the week. Okay, I don't want to see food and trash in there, but once a week at least, we're getting this room to pristine condition to start fresh, right? We're cleaning laundry, we're taking trash out, all of that kind of stuff. And so just treat your family and your children the way that you would want to be treated. Don't have unrealistic expectations in your mind, or even realistic expectations in your mind that you haven't communicated. I think we can all agree that when that happens in relationships, even as adults, it's not really fair, because you're like, how can I meet a standard that I didn't even know existed, right? And so I just wanted to share those tips and those tricks with you. They have been very helpful for me as a parent over the last, almost 20 years. And again, I've had to pivot and kind of move things around to fit different children's personalities, but my standards have remained the same. And honoring them as human beings, respecting them, has remained the same. And so it's not something often that we think about as parents as a necessary key part. When someone is respected and honored, they tend to give respect and honor. When someone is listened to and heard, whether you agree or not, they tend to cultivate the ability to hear and listen to someone else, whether they agree or not. And it's really just a standard for building healthy relationships. And so it's okay if you haven't gotten this right over the years. It's never too late to pivot. This has definitely been an ongoing journey for me. It really was just birthed out of me desiring to be the best mom that I can be, but I'm not perfect. I still yelled, and still, even like if I get to the 4th time, I'm like, son, like, yo, why are we here, And then I have to pull myself back, like, okay, it's my job to put those boundaries in place and enforce those consequences after the second time, like, I know I should. I don't need to get my blood pressure up and be yelling because I did not enforce this boundary and or consequence at the second time as I should. And so there's responsibility on both ends. There's a responsibility of respect and honor from the children's position, and then there's a responsibility for boundaries, consequences, and rewards from the parent's position. But at the root of all of it, and no matter what is happening in the moment, respecting and honoring each other as human beings, parent and child, is something that I feel should always be present. And so if that was helpful, please drop a comment and share. If you have questions about what that might look like in your particular situation, please feel free to drop a comment or send me a message. I don't know if we can message here on YouTube, but follow, like, share, do all that good YouTube-y stuff. And I appreciate you guys taking time to listen today. Have an amazing, amazing rest of your week, and we'll talk soon. Bye.